Well, hello there, fabulous authors. I wanted to jump on because I just did something over on my author brand that is going to matter to you and your marketing. So today I was packaging up some books to mail out to fans, to people who won some contests, to some really cool things, and I jumped on to my author platform over on facebook.com/k.m.robinson books, which you can check out and see what I just did, and I signed my baby live. Now, this was extra special for me because it was the very first time I'd ever signed a book. I have not signed any of my books yet. I did sign some postcards and some bookmarks, but I have never signed a book before. So I jumped on and I did this live for everybody to see. Now, this was not a long process where I signed a whole bunch of books, but as I was going through, I had to sign a couple of them, and I just pulled the very first one and I talked through it. So here's what I did, and here's how you can do it as well. Simply put, all I did was set up my camera so that I could film. I told them what I was going to do. So when I jumped on and addressed them within the beginning of the video, I told them I was signing my very first book. You would say you are signing books to send out for a specific contest, or for a giveaway, or to a specific fan. If you had some kind of special running where they could buy a signed copy of your book, talk about that and promote that a little bit even after the fact. You can sign before whatever event it is that you have to do, or after, doesn't matter. You can choose how you want to market it. You just have to change your words up a little bit. So I jumped on, I told them I was doing a contest, somebody was going to win this book, first time I was signing it, and I had my book, I had my pen, and I was ready to go. Now here's what you need to know before you start. Before you jump on, before you talk to anybody about this, know what you're going to write. So you want to make sure that you understand that you have to write something within this book, whether it is just your signature or it is some type of catchphrase. So you want to make sure you know what you're going to be signing. If you are newer to this and you're not sure how you're signing your name yet, for the love of all things peace of mind, please make sure you are practicing in advance. I definitely have a couple index cards full of unique signatures because I had to decide what I was going to use for my author signature. Pro tip. If you are signing books as an author, do not use the same signature that you use for legal documents. So your normal signature should not be your author signature. I have unique signatures for all the different things I do. So I have my personal signature, which I use for legal things. And then I've got my fine art photographer signature, which I use to sign my artwork. And then I have my author signature, which I use in my books. And they all look fairly different. So there are some things that are similar, but definitely some things that are different. Make sure you differentiate that because that is important. So here we go. Once you have figured out what you want to write, have your pen open in advance or your marker or whatever it is. Make sure it's ready and check it before you go live. Make sure it actually writes. The worst thing you could do is jump on this feed and not be able to write in your book because your pen is not working. So have it open, have it ready to go. When I lifted mine up, I thought my cap was on nice and tight. It was not. It wiggled a little bit, so I had to push it back on. So just be aware of that as you are going. Now the next trick is to figure out where you're going to be putting your book. So I happen to be sitting on a little bench-like thing. If you are sitting at a table, that might help you a little bit more than what I did. I actually had to hold my book up like this and sign it like this up in the air. So if you are not like me and you do not want to hold it up like this, I would recommend setting your camera down on a table so that it's kind of shooting downward at you a little bit. You do not want to have your camera directly on the table so that it shoots up. That makes you look wider. It does not flatter anybody. It's just not good. So shoot down, have it higher, pointing down toward wherever it is that you're signing. So you want it down like this so that you can see the title or the book. Or you can hold it up like this, at which point you kind of have to do one of these. So you're going to be holding your cover and holding the back of the book and signing like this. Now, here's the deal. As you are signing, you are going to be concentrating on what you're writing. If you can talk them through what you're doing, please, by all means, talk them through it. If you cannot, write your word, tell them what you're saying. So if you take a look at mine, I actually wrote 3 different sections. So I have a catchphrase, and my signature here. So what I did was write that in sections. So I wrote the top part first, and I wrote it quickly, and then I told them what I wrote. And then you could talk about why it's important or how it's connected to your book or whatever it is. Then I went back and I signed this little catchphrase here. That's how I sign off all of my everything for both Reading Transforms and K.m. Robinson book stuff. And then I signed my actual name. And I did that as I was telling them what I was doing. So I did not sign it all in one thing, so there was a big gap of silence. There was definitely silence. And silence is a little awkward. People don't necessarily like silence when you're doing things. They like to be talked to. They like to be explained. So if you can do two things at once, go for it. I could not. I got to the point where I was signing, and it's like, if I try to talk while I'm doing this, I'm going to mess it up, and I have to send this to somebody, so I'm going to zip my lips, sign this baby, and then tell them what I'm signing, piece by piece by piece. So, as you were doing this, have your pen ready, know what you're going to say, and then sign it so that they can see it. Once you're done, make sure you hold it up to the camera and display what you have written and tell them what it says, because they may or may not be able to read that. You may have some kind of weird lighting situation going on. There may be glare. If you're using your phone like I am right now to live broadcast through Facebook, it picks up different color tones and it changes. So as I put things closer to my camera lens, it kind of shifts my color tone and it focuses differently. So you may need to tell them what it says just in case your camera kind of flakes out on you. Now, I went a step further and I kind of did some other stuff within my video. I had worn a floral crown, which is actually connected to my book in a couple of different ways. So I mentioned how that was connected. I talked a little bit about my book when it comes out, all that loveliness. So if you can tell some stories as you're doing it, that kind of adds to the value of it. Because yes, it's cool to see you sign your book, but if you're not giving them a bunch of really great information with it, is it really worth their time? Maybe yes, maybe no. So give them some extra exclusive information or talk them through something so that they get some value out of this as well. When you do this, only sign one. You don't necessarily need to be signing multiple books all live on camera because that's just a long drawn out process. The only time you should be doing multiple things like that is if you're doing an actual book signing event where you have people coming to join you and you're giving them that experience of being there as well. But if you're just signing it to send it out, just sign the one, tell them what it's for. And I even teased it saying if you had entered that particular contest, you had the opportunity to win this exact book. So you could check that out and get involved with that contest. So that was kind of a shout out for that. So you can do something like that as well. It's easy, it's super simple. You just got to be aware that you need to get yourself together before you go live because a lot of things could potentially go wrong with this. Now, once you've done this, you want to go ahead and market the rest of that. So as you are packaging up the books to mail out, you want to be taking pictures, but avoid taking pictures of your address or your fans' addresses. We do not give out mailing addresses on the air. You don't necessarily need to be doing a live video of that, but I would recommend doing something like an Instagram story or a Snapchat story, or at least taking some pictures to market with throughout the rest of your social media. You can then repurpose all of that content as blog posts. You can repurpose it as videos on your YouTube page or your website, and you can really get a lot of use out of this one particular book signing that you did live on the air. It's really awesome, and it really gets people energized and excited to get a copy of your book signed directly from you. It's also really great to do something like this before an actual book signing event to get people jazzed up for that event. So there's a lot of different ways you can use this. I highly encourage you to sign your books live, even if you have a day where you're just taking an afternoon and you are signing books to get ready to send them out or to do whatever with. Market that day, use that content over and over again, jump on and do a live signing. It's really awesome. People don't typically see that. So we're in an age where authors have to take advantage of social media and the algorithms. They got to be using video. And a lot of authors are not currently using live video. They're not letting people into this part of their author life. And the more people do that, the more the fans are going to get excited. So most people have not seen people do live signings like I just did. Does that mean that nobody's done it? No, because people have. I'm sure they have. I haven't seen them, but I'm sure that they have. This is something new and unique. And is a little more special, especially when they do it live. So some people will record it and just put a video up. I did it live so people could interact with me live. I think that's a really great idea. So I highly encourage you to grab a book and do a signing. And then you can jump on Instagram stories and you can do a little blurb about what you just did and then do a boomerang setting image of it going like this, which I totally did. If you check out my Instagram stories today, you will find that on there. And it's just a really great way for you to connect with your fans. You can tell them about it in advance. You could tell them about it afterwards. Doesn't matter. It's just something fun that you can do, and they can see that you were live and you did it live. So definitely a great way to get them jazzed up for a sale or for an event or just to get their hands on a copy of your book. Highly recommend it. Definitely try it out this week or next week and see how it goes. Let me know what you are doing within your author brand to get these signings out there live or within your Instagram stories, Instagram albums, all of these fun things that are out and available to us as authors now. I want to know what you're doing because I want to support you and I want to see how it's going for you. Now, if you totally love this tutorial, make sure you jump onto www.readingtransforms.com, where you have access to all of our online courses, our online communities, our resources, our articles, our tutorials, our videos, and the amazing projects that we're working on over at Reading Transforms. You can also jump into community.readingtransforms.com, which is my closed Facebook group. I'm in there every single day teaching about the social media algorithms, how to overcome them, how to work within them. We're talking about all those platform changes that they keep doing on an almost daily basis at this point. And we're talking about marketing your book, branding your author brand, and engaging your fans, having conversations with them, and equipping them to get out there and market your books better. So I hope you will join us. It's an amazing group of authors, and I would love to see you there. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I'm K.m. Robinson of K.m. Robinson Photography and Reading Transforms, and author of Golden, which comes out March 28th. Hope you pick up a copy. And I will see you next time. Stay inspired.